John Roy Lynch was only 26 years old when he stepped into the center of Mississippi politics and changed the course of Reconstruction. He was young, sharp, and fearless, and his rise was so fast and so undeniable that even his enemies had to admit he was gifted. But that same brilliance made him a target in a state determined to crush Black political power. Lynch was born enslaved in 1847 in Louisiana. His father was an Irish overseer, and his mother was an enslaved woman named Catherine. When his father died, the white relatives refused to honor his promise of freedom, and Lynch was sold deeper into the South. But the Civil War brought a turning point. Union forces arrived in Natchez, and Lynch, still a teenager, walked into freedom with nothing but determination and a hunger to learn. He worked any job he could find: photographer's assistant, waiter, stable boy, saving every penny to educate himself. He studied at night, reading by candlelight, teaching himself grammar, history, and law. By the time Reconstruction began, Lynch had transformed himself into one of the most articulate young leaders in Mississippi. In 1869, at just 22 years old, he was elected to the Mississippi House of Representatives. His presence alone was historic. His voice, however, was revolutionary. Lynch spoke with clarity, precision, and a moral force that cut through the noise of Reconstruction politics. He argued for civil rights, public education, and equal protection under the law, and people listened. In 1872, he was elected Speaker of the Mississippi House, the first Black man in American history to hold that position. He was 26. Newspapers across the country took notice. Some praised him, many attacked him, but none could deny his intelligence or his command of the chamber. Lynch's leadership came at a time when Mississippi was boiling with racial tension. White supremacist groups were growing bolder. Violence was rising, and every gain Black citizens made was met with backlash. Lynch fought anyway. He pushed for laws that protected Black voters. He defended the rights of freedmen in court. He used his voice to expose the lies and fear-mongering that fueled the opposition. In 1873, he was elected to the United States Congress. Once again, he was one of the youngest members in the chamber, and once again, he made his presence felt. Lynch delivered powerful speeches defending the Civil Rights Act and calling out the terror campaigns sweeping the South. His words were so precise, so devastating, that even political opponents admitted he was one of the best orators in Washington. But as Reconstruction collapsed, the forces against him grew stronger. Mississippi Democrats used intimidation, fraud, and violence to regain control. Lynch fought to hold his seat, but the system was rigged against him. By the late 1870s, the era of Black political power in Mississippi was being dismantled piece by piece. Lynch refused to disappear. He wrote books documenting the truth about Reconstruction, challenging the lies that would later dominate American history. He became a major voice against the myth that Black leadership had failed. He insisted that Reconstruction was not a mistake. It was a promise that America broke. John R. Lynch lived long enough to see the country rewrite the history he had lived through. But he never stopped telling the truth. He never stopped fighting for the record. And he never stopped believing that the story of Reconstruction needed to be reclaimed. They tried to erase him. They tried to silence his voice. But today, we restore him. They buried these stories for a reason. Because once you know how Black power rose, you can see exactly how it was taken away. And once you see the blueprint, you can recognize every version of it still being used today. This isn't just history. This is the manual. And the fight didn't end in Reconstruction. It just changed clothes. If this episode opened your eyes, don't let the story stop with you. Share it. Talk about it. Challenge the silence that kept these men hidden. This is Black Justice Untold. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.